I still remember the first night I realized something was terribly wrong. My grandmother, who was 78 at the time, had just moved in with me so I could help take care of her. As we settled into our evening routine, I noticed she'd spend an extra hour or two under the covers, scrolling through her phone. She said it helped her relax and catch up on the day, but every morning she complained about feeling groggy and forgetful. It got worse over a few weeks. She started mixing up names of friends, confusing simple details about her day, and even forgetting to take her usual morning medicine. I'll never forget the look in her eyes the day she realized she was slipping into a haze of confusion she couldn't shake. The truth is, she wasn't just losing track of things. It was as if her mind was being slowly eroded, night after night, by this bedtime digital habit. It's easy to dismiss phone or tablet use before sleep as harmless. After all, most of us believe staying connected is necessary. We want to see pictures of the grandkids on social media, read the latest news, or watch a quick video to wind down. But doctors and specialists are now warning seniors that this innocent activity can lead to something far more serious than just a rough night's sleep. The stakes are high. We're talking about your cognitive health, your memory, your ability to stay independent and mentally sharp well into your later years. If left unchecked, that scrolling habit or late-night video watching can set the stage for gradual memory decline, difficulty focusing, and even changes in your mood that make everyday life feel more daunting. In the next few minutes, I want to share 5 crucial insights about the bedtime digital habit and how it might be quietly destroying the very foundation of your brain health. These aren't just theories. They come from what doctors and specialists have begun to recognize in older adults who see a sudden drop in mental clarity and increased forgetfulness after developing a pattern of nighttime screen use. By the end, I promise you'll have a clear path to reclaiming control of your evenings and safeguarding your mental well-being. Even if you think you're too set in your ways or that it's too late to change, stay with me. The final insight might be the most important one of all, revealing a surprising element almost no one talks about. Yet it can make the biggest difference in preserving your cognitive function. I've spent years studying how everyday habits impact mental sharpness in older adults. Through countless interviews and anecdotal stories, I've seen the patterns firsthand. My goal is to bring you the best of what I've discovered so you can make the most informed decisions about your daily life. So before we jump into the specifics, take a moment to consider someone you love, maybe a friend or family member, who's already struggling with memory lapses. This information could be the turning point for them. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to do so and turn on the notification bell. Your engagement helps us reach more seniors who might also need this vital information. If you find yourself feeling intrigued or even a bit concerned by what you hear, please type one in the comments. If at any point you disagree or have doubts, type 0 to let me know. I'm always looking to improve these conversations to better serve you. Let's explore the first of these 5 critical points by looking at a common assumption many of us make, that scrolling through your phone right before bedtime helps you settle down. Have you ever found yourself lying in bed, phone in hand, thinking you're doing something harmless or even beneficial by catching up on the day's events? Here's the startling truth. Most seniors think a bit of screen time at night is a form of relaxation, but it can be far more damaging than you'd suspect. We've been taught that winding down means finding something low-key to occupy our thoughts until we drift off to sleep. Yet this low-key habit might be the very thing disrupting the brain's ability to properly shut down and enter the deep restorative sleep that protects memory and cognitive function. For years, George, a 72-year-old retired librarian, believed that reading articles on his tablet at night was an excellent way to keep his mind active. He told himself it helped him stay informed, that it wasn't junk reading, and that as a senior, he had to keep his brain busy to avoid losing mental sharpness. But George was missing a critical piece of the puzzle. The type of light emitted from screens, the infamous blue light, acts like a false sunrise to your brain. Blue light halts the natural release of melatonin, the hormone that tells your body it's time to sleep. This means George was tricking his brain into thinking it was daytime, even at 11 p.m. The result? He spent hours tossing and turning, never getting that deep, healing rest. In just a few months, he noticed his memory slipping. He started forgetting meeting times with old colleagues, confusing people's names and feeling perpetually exhausted. The surprising truth is that what seems like a minor inconvenience, 1 or 2 nights of restless sleep, compounds over time and places undue stress on an aging brain. This is especially critical after 65, when the body's ability to regulate circadian rhythms, your internal clock, becomes more fragile. The best way to combat this is to implement a simple rule. Turn off electronic devices at least 30 minutes before bed. Many specialists even suggest an hour, but let's start with 30 minutes if that seems more doable. If you rely on a device for reading, try using an e-reader with a warm backlight filter or consider going back to a physical book. Keep the lights in your bedroom dim and avoid staring at bright screens that tell your mind, "Stay awake." Imagine the difference you'll feel when your head finally hits the pillow in a naturally darkened room and your brain's melatonin production isn't rudely interrupted. You drift off more swiftly, you stay asleep longer, and you wake up feeling alert. That clarity ripples through your day, making you more engaged with your family and more confident navigating your daily tasks. The transformation can be extraordinary, turning nights of frustration into a rejuvenating haven your brain craves. Now let's move on to another hidden danger lurking behind nighttime phone use: the emotional roller coaster of social media feeds. You might think scrolling through family photos or reading uplifting articles right before bed is a gentle pastime. But scrolling can quickly turn into a session of checking news headlines, reading contentious discussions, or even coming across a distressing story that rattles you emotionally. The common misconception is that as long as you're not physically exerting yourself, you're relaxing. In reality, emotional stress is just as powerful and can hijack your sleep more than you realize. Margaret, 68, confided that she used her bedtime scrolling to catch up on what she'd missed during the day. She'd look at pictures posted by her children and grandchildren, read a few comments, and watch short videos. Before she knew it, she stumbled on a heated political debate in the comments section, or disturbing news that spiked her anxiety. When she tried to sleep, her mind wouldn't quiet down. She'd replay those thoughts in her head, sometimes half dreaming about scenarios she'd read online. The next morning, she felt drained and on edge. Over time, her stress levels skyrocketed, making her more prone to memory lapses and forgetfulness. Studies suggest that when cortisol, the stress hormone, remains elevated through the night, it disrupts the normal cycles of brain repair. Many seniors believe that staying engaged in social issues or family dramas via social media is a sign of remaining connected and young at heart. But the fact is, the digital space amplifies emotions in ways we can't always control. A single photo or comment can unleash waves of sadness, fear, or anger, especially late at night when we're more vulnerable. One practical step is to set a digital curfew for yourself. Maybe you decide that after 8 p.m., you'll avoid social media entirely. Instead, try turning to calming hobbies, gentle stretching, listening to soothing music, or writing in a gratitude journal. You'll give your mind a break from the emotional upheaval that social feeds often stir up. Think about how your nights might change if you opt for a peaceful environment free from the digital noise. Rather than ruminating about that shocking news story or that relative's provocative comment, you'll slip into a state of calm. In the morning, you awaken with a sense of relief and clarity, ready to engage in life without the lingering emotional baggage of the previous night's online discoveries. If you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, please drop a 2 in the comments to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I suggest doing so and turning on notifications. We have a lot more to cover, and I don't want you to miss any crucial points that could protect your cognitive health. We often hear, memory issues are just a part of aging. But is that always true? It might surprise you that nighttime screen use can cause sudden or accelerated memory lapses that go beyond the typical forgetfulness we associate with getting older. Here's why. Deep sleep is when your brain consolidates memories and performs a sort of housekeeping, clearing out waste products that build up throughout the day. Disrupting deep sleep can mean you're not giving your brain the chance to tidy up. Over time, it's like leaving trash in the kitchen for days on end. Eventually, the odor becomes overwhelming. Helen, 75, used to blame everything on age. She'd forget her keys, leave the oven on, or lose track of her weekly appointments. She shrugged it off as the natural progression of life. But what she didn't realize was that every night around 10 p.m., she relaxed in her favorite recliner to watch just one more episode of a streaming show on her tablet. Sometimes it turned into 2 or 3 episodes. By midnight, she was finally in bed, but her mind was still reeling with the storyline. She'd wake up multiple times during the night. When she finally got up in the morning, she felt like she'd barely slept at all. A few months into this routine, Helen started experiencing alarming gaps in her memory. She once found herself standing in front of her house, unsure if she had locked the door just 5 minutes earlier. Desperate, she visited her doctor, who suggested focusing on sleep hygiene first. That's when she decided to ditch her tablet at least an hour before bed and follow a strict wind-down routine. It took discipline, but within weeks she noticed she was remembering details of her day more easily. Her morning confusion lessened. The difference was obvious not only to her, but to her friends and family, who remarked on her sharper, more engaged demeanor. The real shocker is that many seniors have no clue how vital uninterrupted deep sleep is to protecting brain function. They believe memory decline is inevitable, rather than something that can be slowed, even reversed with the right habits. So if you're constantly telling yourself, "I'm just getting old," take a moment to reconsider your bedtime ritual. Turn off the TV or streaming device, lower the lights, maybe try a brief meditation or soft instrumental music. Give your brain the signal that it's time to shut down and repair. Imagine waking up and finding you can recall yesterday's events in detail, that you never misplace your glasses or phone, and that your mind feels crisp as you navigate daily tasks. That level of mental clarity not only boosts your self-confidence, it also fortifies your sense of independence, ensuring you can continue doing the things you love without fear or frustration. A lot of people assume that reading an ebook is a wholesome alternative to browsing social media or watching videos. There's some truth to this. Ebooks tend to be less visually stimulating than flashy videos or social feeds. But reading on a screen, especially under bright or harsh lighting, can still disrupt sleep and, by extension, brain health. Light intensity, fonts, and even the mental engagement of a dramatic novel can keep your mind buzzing long after you've closed the cover, digital or otherwise. Robert 80 was an avid reader all his life. He switched from physical books to an e-reader, believing it would be easier on his hands and more convenient in bed. He'd read for about an hour before bedtime, making sure the room was dim. At first it seemed like a smart move. No heavy book to hold, and the text size was adjustable. But as time went on, he noticed his eyes felt strained, and his sleep was fragmented. He'd drift off for a couple of hours, then wake suddenly with racing thoughts about the storyline he'd just read. Morning after morning, he felt tired and irritable. Even taking a nap during the day didn't fully restore his energy. The problem wasn't that he was reading at all, it was how he was reading. Even e-ink screens can emit enough light to send mixed signals to the brain. Plus, the content of what you read matters. If you're diving into a heart-pounding thriller or a suspenseful mystery, your adrenaline can spike late at night, making it difficult for your mind to wind down. One simple guideline is to use a night mode if your device has it, or invest in a reading lamp with a soft, warm tone. You could also limit yourself to gentler, more uplifting reads at bedtime, or switch to a physical book for those last moments of the day. Try reading for just 20 or 30 minutes rather than an hour or more. The goal is not to overstimulate your mind right before you want it to rest. Think about how liberating it would be to curl up with a calming story and actually feel drowsy instead of wired. Rather than letting your imagination race, your thoughts slow to a pleasant trickle. You fall asleep easily, then stay asleep all night, waking with the mental stamina to tackle your day. This approach merges your love for reading with a genuine strategy for preserving cognitive health. If you've listened so far and find this information resonates, please type a 4 in the comments. Let me know how you feel about ebooks versus physical books. And as always, I appreciate your support and engagement. If you haven't subscribed, now is a great time to do it so you won't miss the next insight, which is often overlooked but can have the biggest impact on your brain's long-term well-being. There's a more insidious aspect to bedtime digital habits that many overlook: how mentally stimulating content can accelerate cognitive decline. It's not just about the blue light or the brightness, it's also about the overstimulation that occurs when you're exposed to fast-paced videos, gripping news stories, or even interactive apps. Seniors frequently tell themselves it's good to keep the mind active, but there's a time and place for mental engagement, and that place is rarely right before your head hits the pillow. Diane, 77, was committed to staying sharp. She believed watching documentary clips online before bed would enhance her knowledge. At first, she felt proud of herself, convinced she was defying the stereotype of seniors who can't keep up. But soon she realized she was having trouble falling asleep because her brain was busy analyzing all the information she just absorbed. Even after she dozed off, she'd wake up every couple of hours, her mind swirling with details from the documentaries. Over several weeks, she found it increasingly difficult to recall simple appointments or details from phone calls with her children. Her daily routine turned chaotic. She constantly misplaced her reading glasses, missed out on important social events, and even forgot the birthdays of people closest to her. This is where we have to address the misconception that all mental stimulation is beneficial at any time. Yes, challenging your brain is important in your 60s, 70s, and beyond, but bedtime is for unwinding, not revving up your mental engines. If you cram your mind with stimulating content, you're depriving it of the chance to decompress and cycle into a rejuvenating rest. What's the best alternative? Try journaling or light reflection instead. Write down 3 things you're grateful for that day. Maybe jot down any worries so they're out of your head and on paper. Another option is to listen to guided relaxation audio that helps slow your breathing and center your thoughts on calm, repetitive phrases. By steering clear of stimulating digital media, you let your brain slip into a restful mode. Think of how comforting it would be to drift off to sleep with a gentle sense of calm, rather than stirring your mind into high alert. The payoff is waking up refreshed, with a mind that's better equipped to recall information and manage daily tasks. You'll face less brain fog, less confusion, and more clarity, which translates into greater independence and self-assurance. As we bring these insights together, it's clear that a bedtime digital habit might seem like a trivial, modern pastime, but it carries profound implications for your cognitive health. Don't wait until you or someone you love notices a troubling pattern of forgetfulness or disorientation. You have the power right now to steer your nights in a healthier direction. Take a moment to imagine yourself a few weeks or months from now. You've limited or completely cut out nighttime screen use, and in return, you're sleeping more soundly. The mornings that once felt like wading through mud now greet you with a renewed sense of energy. You recall names, details, and tasks more easily. You engage with loved ones without the constant worry of forgetting something important. This is not a far-fetched dream. It's a practical reality that hinges on simple changes you can implement starting tonight. Let's recap the key ideas we've covered. First, remember that any amount of blue light before bed disrupts your natural sleep hormones. Second, be mindful that scrolling social media can emotionally overstimulate you. Third, deep sleep is critical for memory consolidation, and losing it affects more than just how rested you feel. It erodes mental clarity. Fourth, even seemingly harmless ebook reading can backfire if done in the wrong way. And finally, overstimulation, whether from dramatic videos or intellectually charged content, can send your mind racing at a time when it should be winding down. The takeaway is urgent. If you continue with the same bedtime digital habit, you risk gradually compromising your brain's ability to store memories and process information. But by taking action now, restricting screen time, lowering light exposure, choosing calmer bedtime activities, you're setting the stage for a far brighter future. It's one where you retain your sense of independence, stay sharp enough to manage your daily life, and genuinely enjoy all those moments with family and friends. These changes might feel small, but their impact can be enormous. I'd like you to ask yourself, which of these strategies resonates with you the most? Maybe you've realized social media at night is your biggest downfall. Or perhaps you're more concerned about the type of reading or video content that keeps your mind racing. Take just one of these 5 points and commit to applying it tonight. Even that single step could start a chain reaction, leading to better sleep, better memory, and a better overall quality of life. Please leave a comment below sharing what you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. We value your experiences. Hearing them helps motivate us to continue creating content that genuinely supports you. If you found this video helpful, remember to like and subscribe. More importantly, share this information with anyone you think might be struggling with nighttime restlessness or cognitive lapses. You never know how deeply you could change someone's life just by passing along these insights. Above all, never forget that you hold immense power to shape your mind at any age. Every small shift in your habits adds up over time. You deserve restful nights and vibrant days, and the great news is that you can start making it happen right now. Thank you for watching and for taking the time to invest in your brain health. You're not just protecting your future, you're taking a stand for the incredible, life-affirming memories still waiting to be made.